entering the fight. Let's see where that fight will take place for game 3. Dude, we are rocking now. Is HGC in the house today? Spacestation picks Dragonshire, so they have changed it up off the first pick. Now they're choosing the Battleground.
I think they definitely have not had the success that they expected in their first few games. And HeroesHearth, Tomb of the Spider Queen, definitely their favorite Battleground, worked out well for them. And then Infernal Shrines, giving up the map pick. I think it's just giving away too much comfort. Maybe they feel they can get a little bit more comfortable on Dragonshire.
Dragonshire for Spacestation doesn't immediately stand out to me. I would say that if we knew that Kerrigan was a thing for other teams and if Equinox was not on tank. But to see a team that's generally more willing to change it up in draft, give up first pick to go to Battleground, could be nothing. Could be a standard draft. They just want to make sure that they don't go to a map where they don't feel confident. But it also could allude to some sort of pocket pick that they've been practicing.
Pocket picks sometimes come out. We saw the Tyrael paired with the Anubrak there. Didn't quite have the type of success. They had a couple of good engages. They just weren't able to dominate those team fights. But
and remember versus Simplicity when they had lost either 1 or 2 games, Viking Zillidan. So they do have those pocket picks.
That was cursed.
It was.
They picked Dragonshire.
This could be something else.
What would be weird on Dragonshire? Outside of a Zeratul.
Could be the Zeratul. Casanova. Oh, HeroesHearth gets Crowan's Hanzo, though.
You know, that surprises me a bit that they're giving up Hanzo. I'm hoping that they're going Genji here. Because are you at this point conceding that Crowan's Greymane is better than his Hanzo? From what I've seen in week 1 and now, I think I'm more terrified of the Hanzo.
Oh, yeah. I would be too. I'll just say it, Malfurion Jaina is pretty high. That's a pretty high Malf Jaina rotation. Could be nothing, could be something. I like to think it's something. We'll see. Tass is still up.
The roots
are on fire. It's not Kael'thas, Malfurion.
Technically, Malfurion has a skin for that, and it kind of looks like he's on it.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if Spacestation was gonna maybe try like a Medivh Wombo combo type thing with that high Malfurion having the Twilight Dream with it. Not sure about the Jaina if that's part of the factor for that, but just in case, here's how they're gonna get Diablo. It's a part of their core comp, it seems anyway, to have Diablo, Tass, Hanzo. Maybe they add the Sonya to that.
I think we'll see a slightly different build for Crowan, maybe a little bit more focused on going to the scatter shot build at 4 and 7. We've seen Redemption has been the primary pickup at level 1 when Tassadar is picked up to get as much as you can out of those shields. But the same way that we had in Tomb of the Spider Queen, where you had the big dragon arrow into the APOC, those moments are so few and far between that they need to be able to do more elsewhere. And the camps, I think, would be a way to create a little bit more chaos, force out some rotations. Because strictly sticking to this team fight thing, it's working, but it doesn't look perfect yet. And they need to find more ways to win.
Tychuspan. Just on the level, though, of seeing HeroesHearth yesterday, where a big combo for them was the Anub Genji, and it didn't quite seem to be synchronized. And then to see them come in today and have the Dragon's Arrow and the Apocalypse and make that work, the improvement is rapid. It's happening. But you're right, it's not quite at the flawless technique to throw out a Hanzo pun.
We've got the high priority Jaina. We've actually seen Jay Shrite do really well on Li Ming as well. When you go Jaina, it's obviously a safe pick in terms of wave clear. We've seen moderate success in our first 2 weeks with Jaina here in North America. But I'm not sold on Jaina pre-second ban.
Yeah, that high Jaina mouth really feels like something. Like they're central, but they're normal enough picks. Garrosh is one. Dahaka, pretty norm up in the top. And we didn't get to highlight the Sonya ban, knowing what Heroes Hearth, the core combo of this composition. Sonya has been a big part of that for McIntyre.
I think there's a good possibility we get Zeratul here. Could just be a safe Leoric pick, but I feel like there's a high probability of Zeratul.
Okay.
I'm just, the Garrosh into a Hanzo might actually switch up Hanzo's build, especially at level 7. Just to deny that armor. I mean,
well, the only thing you really need for Mercenaries is at 4, right? Cooldown reduction, awesome at 7. That's really good for that too. But if you want to stick with having the attack speed from the 1 with Tassadar to get benefit out of Tassadar, you're going to go for Kala's Embrace. It's been a lot more Kala's Light anyway. And then if you still want to have armor reduction at 7, it seems like his builds in general are pretty flexible. Uther Malthael is the final 2 picks. Uther's back for BBJ and Malthael.
Time for Tranquility. We had a Tranquility game in our first week, didn't we?
June.
Yeah.
New changes to give armor. I don't remember.
I want Lunara right here. I just got to say it before it's picked. I want Lunara all day right now against an Uther Tassadar. You need somebody that can pepper down the front line, spread out the damage against this team. I'm sorry, I have to have it. They go Falstad.
Let's fly.
I'm not as
sold. Double global.
You know, one of these days I'm going to find the right words to say where I think Falstad lies in our meta.
Go ahead.
I don't know the words yet. I'm trying to find a really good way to say that, because Falstad for me has limited success. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that limits that success in a lot of ways. And there's varied reasons on why it's a positive and varied reasons on why it's a negative. In this setup, I think it's more of a negative than it is a positive. Unless you are getting ganks and really, really maximizing that global, his team fighting potential is not great. And Seasoned Marksman will do okay. Giant Killer does well against Diablo once he has souls. But beyond that, there's not a lot that screams out to me. You could easily have Malthael dive in, go Tormented Souls, get the Divine Shield, and Malthael's still sticking to your team. And Falstad just doesn't do it for me right now.
Their backs against the wall. Last time they played Dragonshire, Spacestation Gaming relied on Flighty Gusts from Casanova flying in and gusting in LFM. The first time didn't work, but they kept going, and they did end up getting that win. Let's see if it lets them get the win versus Heroes Hearth, or if Heroes Hearth gets a clean 3-0 win over Spacestation. That, talk about a statement.
Definitely be a big one. And if you're looking to gust this team in to your team, you better hope you've got that taunt and a potential Ring of Frost and Twilight Dream all available.
Feels very Wombo-y. And if one team knows what it's like to play with Wombos and probably play against them, I would put it to Heroes Hearth.
Definitely to Heroes Hearth. We do see the Redemption picked up at 1 again for Hanzo. No surprise, as the Tassadar has been there. Be more important as we get through the later parts of his kit.
Another Warbreaker from Equinox, similar to Fury earlier in the day. Shando's Clarity, the reduced cooldown, or cooldown recharging faster, while you've got Regrowth active. That'll make sure that Jaina doesn't necessarily need to move into something like an Arcane Intellect. If that's the thought, Jay Shorta can be more free to just do all the damage he needs.
Yeah, I think it definitely opens him up, you know, with the difference in build. He's kind of been the outlier in terms of the builds. You know, we've seen some flexibility at level 1, especially against level 4 against Zeratul's, just getting that extra, that frost armor. But beyond that, everything else had been pretty standard. Jay Shrite is trying to break the norm. It seems like he's kind of conformed to the norm with his earlier Jaina build, and it looks like he's doing the same here.
A Seasoned Marksman pick for Falstad. being in lane. Spacestation change up the rotations to Mercenaries just slightly. They're going to help out Dahaka in the top lane versus that Malthael by getting the Bruisers first. Meanwhile, HeroesHearth goes for the bottom Giants to kick things off. The Shrine's activating in just a few seconds.
I really want to see how HeroesHearth approaches this, because in terms of clear, Tassadar and Malthael are pretty decent at getting the anti-push here. But getting through that mage is kind of the main thing, and Ishbu's already found a way to get in there.
And get out. It's a good point. Flip targets for Equinox. Who's it going to be? Arthalon has Dimensional Shift. You saw the Shadow Charge for Diablo. McIntyre has Fear the Reaper, so he's not as vulnerable to body blocks as long as he has that off cooldown. We've got the Hanzo and the Uther, and with Uther picking up Pursuit of Justice, he can drop a stun and then be able to, oh, there we go. Doesn't even need the Fear the Reaper, he just has the Reaper's mark on, so he teleports back.
Well, the thing about it, on who is your target, if Diablo becomes the primary aggressor in these team fights and he shadow charges in,
nicely done, really well done. He had the Dimensional Shift, Equinox waited, threw him back over, roots were there, and that's what's necessary. Please continue.
That was calculated. That's simple arithmetic right there. But yeah, if Diablo is the aggressor and he shadow charges in first, then HeroesHearth has to be behind him, right? They have to be coming in forward with him in an aggressive manner as a team, because if not, then Diablo can easily get thrown out and not have his way in. So I think so long as he's patient, Equinox is patient on the Garrosh, he'll find the opportunities. All you need is 1 or 2 opportunities in the early game to make what just happened to Tassadar come through. You have the roots, you have the slow from Jaina, and the big damage to follow up beyond that. So there is that availability, and because it's not a heroic style, you're looking at a shorter cooldown, the opportunities throughout the game are quite immense.
And Spacestation also can keep an eye on if Hanzo becomes the target. They get a good flip on Crowan being the aggressive Hanzo that we know and love. Then as long as they're watching to where he would be in trouble, as Equinox goes for another stun. The Drac was there too, but BBJ got away. As long as they're watching for what wall he can dive over, then just make sure that they're there with the roots and the follow-up damage from Jay Shrita and Jaina. But they also can keep Diablo at bay and not allow Ishbu to play as aggressively as he would otherwise like.
Especially when you're scared of being rooted. Vengeful Roots was picked up, and I did not expect that here. Ishbu might have found himself going in a little bit too far.
Oh, especially with the flying from Casanova. Spacestation gets a second kill, but HeroesHearth stops the Dragon Knight from getting picked up by Spacestation. They had a lot of people on the Knights, HeroesHearth did. It took a little while to get the Bruisers while Spacestation had both of the Shrines. That cost Diablo his life.
I mean, he went the spell armor at level 7, but I think that's just way too ambitious there to think that you can go in, flip somebody on the other side of you and still survive. There's just no way.
Uh-oh. Malthael. Stun. Nice flip location. He's gonna put him next to Tomster.
Wait a minute.
Oh, the jukes! The jukes are real! McIntyre lives!
Dude, he didn't even put down a spray. Come on, man.
That's a spray-worthy play right
there. Oh, that was... I'm actually a little confused on the flip, but...
Yeah, I don't know if Root was down, maybe Tomster was too, but didn't want to flip him so close to the gate. But still, when you have the Reaper's Mark, it's tough to catch a Malthael like that.
That's just so good. I mean, it just was like, never panic, just stay, survive, go through. Crowan and team have found themselves a Dahaka. They get 1 stun. He was waiting for him to use that. He missed. Maybe he had already used that on his approach.
Could have
BBJ
been.
though.
Yeah, he's perpetually slowed now from Jay Shrita having that crossbow build. Ishbu's going to go back in with the shield of Arthalon coming in. HeroesHearth turned this around. Everyone coming up.
Did Equinox just kill his teammate? He literally threw him on top of Jaina.
Oh.
And
he was trying to inch the frame out.
No, he threw Uther over towards Jaina, and Uther just brought the hammer down on her.
It's like, yeah, I'll take this. Well, sometimes it happens. There's the Tormented Souls as McIntyre just sits. They've got the Force Wall, they had the Dragon's Arrow, they had the APOC, and now they'll have a second kill and a Dragon Knight.
The Dragon's Arrow into the APOC is the combo they showed. It only took one time in Tomb of the Spider Queen to help seal the deal. Here, they're getting it a little bit sooner as it's 6.5 minutes in. Does help confirm 2 kills. Plenty of lockdown there. And Force Wall one more time to really try and keep him in. And this is the dominant early to mid game that I was looking for from Heroes Hearth. Looks like they're starting to get it.
Man, just McIntyre hitting Tormented Souls and sitting on the gate. He was like, what's up? I'm the Reaper of Souls. What are you going to do about it? The whole time, the Dragon Knight behind. There is the Flighty Gust, the Ring of Frost, the taunt too. BBJ uses his Divine Shield to run out, stun, stopping Ishbu from catching Casanova. Now Ishbu gets thrown back into the team. McIntyre doing what he can to help out. Isolation comes out. The Dragon Knight still doing what he can. The fort's been brought down. Tassadar's inside this. Not sure he's going to get too much more, but Heroes Hearth don't lose anything other than the Uther.
Yeah, it's unfortunate Uther got caught on there. Generally, if you're not the one on there, you can kind of cleanse, get somebody else out of trouble, and then Divine Shield potentially. Everybody would have lived, but good job catching Uther there and able to get the kill.
Gust Ring was one. Twilight Dream's still up, so in 18 seconds they could make a play for another one. Oh, beautiful dodge, or beautiful dive. Force Wall 2, everyone's coming in. It's a party as Garrosh falls down. Be a little bit till they get him back up. There is the drag.
It's like, wait a minute, I want to go in. Just missing the Force Wall there to get the charge into it. Heroes Hearth, full level lead now. It's up to them. I'd almost like to see them just invade that top right camp. I mean, they've got multiple people responding. Instead, they're going to play it a little bit neutral here. Take the bottom camp. This will allow them to take Siege Giants and the Knight camp, take themselves a bottom fort, really start to have control over this bottom lane. It's a matter of what they do with it afterwards.
Yeah, Heroes Hearth sees that a lot of people from Space Station are on that camp in the top. Push in and steal the Giants. This is a big setup bottom lane for Heroes Hearth with that 13 advantage. Trying to take down that fort so that not only have they got the mid, they have the bot, rotations there, they have so much going for them in future Dragon Knight phases.
Well, this is a terrible spot. Jaina can do a bit of damage. The spell armor is just going to help everybody siege up here. Double Giants, this is keep wall at minimum. Look for them to potentially get a Dragon Arrow into an APOC, try and get themselves another combo, possibly a keep. Double global in the top for Space Station. Could open the window here. Look for Crowan to pull the trigger and the rest of the team to follow.
We've got that double global in the top. Crowan keeping an eye on where Space Station is as the Dragon's Arrow comes out, hits one. But Nature's Cure allows Jay Stritta to get out of danger now. The fly down from Casanova as he sets up for the Gust. The Force Wall may be working against them as the taunt, the Ring of Frost, but Equinox is still the first to go down as Malthael had Tormented Souls and was just breaking down the Garrosh.
Breaking it down, and this is a big enough push that if they get another kill, well, Arthalon. Oh, the max range Q there, the Frostbolt getting the kill.
Jay Stritta getting the kill that might have just saved the day. Now Heroes Hearth are on retreat, at least for the moment. They've used the combo.
They used it. They got themselves a level-and-a-half lead and a keep at 10 minutes in. That means Heroes Hearth will have control over that bottom lane for the rest of the game. Strongest lane on this map. Heroes Hearth is in such a good spot. Their probability of winning is high, but what we've seen in Space Station coming back in team fights, we'll see.
That last fight was crazy. With the Force Wall going down, the Gust straight into it. I was so surprised to see how healthy Heroes Hearth was from that. But that's what happens when you have the souls from Diablo. The Divine Shield to help out with that from Uther, tanky Uther, and then Tassadar with that self-supporting. Malthael pretty much took care of himself from that.
Casanova canceled his flight there. He had Gust available. You could hear the whistle. Then he's like, I guess I'll just cancel this. Let's not force it. 16 rapidly approaching for Heroes Hearth. They've got the Knights in the top. This is a great opportunity. If they want to rotate top lane, they could easily take that Knight camp, push in, take that entire fort, give them some experience in top lane. I don't understand why they're not making that attempt. With the talent tier advantage, the Knights, it seems like they could make more happen. It's a long game, Dragonshire, and if you could take that fort down, you get the experience, you get that top lane control. Instead, they find nothing but air.
It's a long game, and it's a long game that HeroesHearth does not want to allow to happen, because with the double global, things like Epic Mount, Apex Predator, generally you're going to see Spacestation probably still want to have Contagion, but Epic Mount is still a pretty big problem, and even from that, the double globals alone, once post 20 hits, those double globals are going to make it tough for HeroesHearth to ever be able to control Shrines and maybe put them in a position where they have to fight that is not as favorable for them. So for them having this lead, they really want to make something happen out of it. Jason, pretty deep behind the rest as the Tormented Souls goes out. Now this does separate McIntyre from the rest of the team as he uses Inevitable in to dodge the gust, but still working out beautifully for HeroesHearth as they dive in deep, getting the APOC. They're going to take down one. Tomster in a lot of trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble. Ishbu was the key component to that. 3 members are down. They are going to have the Dragonite. They're going to try. Oh, just missed out on getting those Siege Giants. But this should be a way for them to end the game, taking a clutch team fight as Ishbu making the plays happen for his team. The force wall locked into Haka. And here we go again, getting the flip over. That's game over.
Lights out for Jaina and lights out for Spacestation Gaming as the Dragonite steps onto core. Casanova will have Mighty Gust at 15, but that is not going to matter. Because as dominant as HeroesHearth was in these last few fights, as soon as they hit 10 and the combo was executed, they take out Spacestation 3-0. HeroesHearth.
Jason came in an aggressive flank there, missed the isolation. They got the stun onto Dahaka. Dragon Arrow hit, and then the rest was all she wrote. As the combos that we know HeroesHearth likes to run definitely worked out. Synergy on point on Dragonshire.
Oh yeah. They executed that combo as soon as they got it, and that's when the game opened up in a big way. They took out that mid fort, they got the Dragonite, pushed bottom. They got a keep really early on, which is very good versus that double global, and they never even allowed that double global to get what Spacestation was hoping out of it. The gust into things like Ring of Frost, Twilight Dream also just didn't really seem to be too much of a problem for HeroesHearth to handle. Thanks to that double supporting, the super strong tank of Diablo up in front. It's great to see both HeroesHearth and LFM coming in and getting wins today.
Yeah, you know, that last opportunity, they went for the party bush bottom, didn't find it. They went up top, found a garage, started it a little bit. Spacestation was willing to fight into it. HeroesHearth very reliant on team fights in all 3 games. I mentioned maybe they could have gone up, taken a fort, started to play that talent to your advantage, open up the map. Other teams would probably make that approach. HeroesHearth very much falls back on the team fighting aspect, and it looked good. They got it. Spacestation gave them that opportunity at the end. HeroesHearth looked good today, but I'd like to see them continuing to evolve their style. That was their first dominant game that we've seen. Everything else has been team fight, team fight, team fight. Looks good. I think they've got a lot of room to improve, and if you can get a win over Spacestation to move your way up the ladder and still have a lot of room to improve, that's a bright future.
Well, I think you can extend that even further, not just with HeroesHearth. We talked to Draded in the interview earlier, and although they did get the win over Gale Force, LFM feels like they're in the same position. They have some early game things to work out. They have very good understanding of where they need to be for those crucial fights, and HeroesHearth has a really good understanding of the kinds of synergistic combos that give them those good fights, but both of them are still working out on being able to keep up with the rotations of these long-standing HGC teams, and I think that that is very much to be expected, and that's something that you see from not only teams that enter from open division to the pro, but even when you look at the difference between regions. But let's check in with Crowan from HeroesHearth after their first win. Congratulations, Crowan, sorry, you not just won, you had the 3-0. How you guys feeling?
Well, it feels pretty good to finally get the win on the board. We had a couple of tough matchups versus Team Freedom and Tempo Storm for the first couple weeks, but no, it finally feels good to prove that I guess we're a pretty decent team, a force to be reckoned with. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, you guys have this incredible synergy, and we've heard BBJ talk about how you guys are the longest standing roster because of all the changes, and you guys not having the changes coming in. Where do you feel like that synergy puts you measuring up to the other teams? Do you feel like you can say confidently you're in the top 4, or are you still figuring that out?
I think that we are in the top four, yes. I think that the synergy from playing through the open division it does put us a step ahead of the other team on some aspects. Obviously, other teams still have very, mechanically strong players. They're good teams, have been in the HGC for a long time. And so props to them, and they've kept it up and are really good. But I think that us making these improvements, I think from week 1 to week 2, we made a lot of improvements, and we
Oh,
got to
yeah.
finally show those today. So, yeah, I think we are top four.
What were some of the big things that you guys worked on? Because we've been talking about that improvement all weekend for you guys.
Well, I think you saw that we were losing like early game to tempo pretty much every game,
Hmm.
but we went to those replays, check stuff out, and we are able to switch up sort of how we play a little bit and cleaning up those mistakes, and we're able to be a stronger team because of it.
All right, congrats, Crowan. I'll send you on over to J-How.
Crowan, Greymane banned against you. Happily taking Hanzo. Hanzo or Greymane now?
Can I go Li Ming again? Can we just go back to Li Ming meta? I'm trying to do that again.
Things have looked good for you guys. Team fighting aspect, it seems like you guys are relying a lot on that. You guys had some really killer combos. The macro game, it seems like you guys are still working through some things. When it comes to the combos, is that something that you guys feel is what you're going to rely on a lot? What are your thoughts on your team dynamic right now?
I don't want to say that we're going to rely on combos. I think it's something that, because of the aforementioned synergy, is something we can do really well. But it's just sort of one tool in our arsenal, I'd like to say. Like, I think that we are a very diverse team. And as I said, there's been a lot of improvement between week 1 and week 2. So I think every week we'll be looking to improve on something, do something better, and just look to be a very versatile team.
I've touted you guys as one of the most diverse teams coming into the league. Last week, you guys tried every way possible to fight that by going Greymane Leoric. This week, you guys have come out differently, and we've also seen the inclusion of Tassadar with that redemption at level 1 on Hanzo. Was that something you guys kind of brought to the table? Did you see that elsewhere? We've seen it a lot, and you guys have executed it pretty well this weekend. How did that come into play?
Well, it's something that's been around for a long time. It's just that people sort of forgot about it. And we're kind of like, hey, these heroes are pretty good. And it seems to work in this meta. So might as well bring it back. And it worked out today. So.
Well, I got to have a sneak peek at the stats after every game. Your Hanzo play is incredible, man. Congratulations to you and your team for picking up your first victory.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Crowan, the toughest schedule is not going to let off you guys. Next weekend, you have Team 12. Now, they did just lose to Tempo Storm yesterday. Do you feel like there's maybe some room there for you guys to get a win? How are you looking to approach that match?
Honestly, I think that there is from, again, like the improvement that we've made from week 1 to week 2. And honestly, that Tempo series could have gone to game 5. And if Tempo is going to beat Team 12, I think we could look to get a win there.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you next weekend. Congratulations again. The floor is yours for shoutouts.
Thank you. Shout outs to my team. We've all put in a long hours and a lot of work for this, and we're just looking to keep improving. Shout outs to you guys for casting. Shout outs to everyone in the chat for supporting, everyone in the community. Just much love, and thank you.
Thanks, Crowan.
Thank you.